Hello and welcome to this assignment walkthrough video for the DHIS2 curriculum developed by Logical Outcomes. My name is Nicholas Santillo, and in this video I'm joined by Sara Gaudon, and together we go through how to create a tracker capture program in DHIS2. Okay, I'm back here with Sara. Hey Sara.
Hello.
And we are going to tackle tracker capture, potentially the most intimidating part of DHIS2.
Maybe this or GIS, I'd say, but yeah, this is definitely a good experience because you learn how sequence is very important, and also you'll get a good handle on the different terms that we're using. So
Perfect.
Let's dive in. So the instructions here, we've got 8, but some of them have a lot of steps. So let's just keep that in mind. We're similarly going to do this in the program's attributes, so let's check that out. So I've logged in. I'm going to go to Programs Attributes. So in the previous assignment, we did just an event, so all we really had to deal with here was program. Now, Tracker Capture has a whack of new terms and places of things we have to set up. So the first thing we want to set up is our attributes. So what are we collecting about a person? So it says an attribute can be used to register extra information for a person. So this could be additional, or it could be, required for your program. Things like a person's name, person's age. So set these up first, one by adding it. And all you need are the names. There are some other options here, like what type of a value is it? So is the attribute a text? Is it a number? So this is similar to when you set up data elements. You have to pick a few different options. If it's something like, I don't know, nationality, and you have an option set that says, Canadian, American, from the United Kingdom, you might choose option set here. But for us, most of them are text or numbers for these examples here.
I just want to say that there was a unique option there, and unique just makes sure that you cannot have a duplicate anywhere in that program. So that's good if you're using barcodes or serial numbers or anything like that.
Nice. Okay. So for the example that we've set up in our dev instance, we've got 5 attributes. The next step is to set up your tracked entity. So who are you tracking? For this example, we're going to do teachers. So to add new, there isn't really much here. It's just the name of what you're tracking. Okay, so for teacher, that has been done. Let me just refer back to the instructions. So we've got attributes done. We've got our entity. Now, we assume here that in previous assignments, you've already imported your data elements. And of course, the data elements for the domain type have to be tracker. So they can't be aggregate, or else they're not going to show up when we come to design the program. So yeah, if you haven't done that yet, you can use samples in our system, but see that creating data elements assignment for more.
Great.
Yeah, so the remainder of the steps are similar to the event capture, but there'll be a few more options that we have to choose from. So we can now go to program. I'll just note that in our example, we're not tracking families, so we didn't really get into relationship type. For example, a mother could have a child, and they could inherit certain attributes from that mother, like last name or, nationality, things like that. So we haven't covered that, but that's something that if you have to track families or places where there's relationships, you'll need to adjust.
Yeah, relationship type, all the system does is it's A to B as B to A. So A is to B mother, B is to A daughter. And so you just create a lot of those, as many as you need for the relationships that you're allowing. So they can be familial or they can be anything else.
Could be, supervisor, employee, if you want to use it in a slightly different context there. Okay, so for programs, we would add new. So in this case, we've set one up calling it a teacher program. So let's take a look. When we set it up and when we choose with registration, some additional options become available. This is what makes tracker capture a little more complicated than event capture. So here, what becomes available is who are we tracking? So the tracked entity that we just set up, we have to choose them. So this is where order becomes important. So we've got teacher. Version, does this automatically update, Nicholas?
No, that's me because I've been I've been just working with it, so I just tracked it for myself. Great.
Okay. So the important part here is there's going to be a date when you register someone, when you enroll them. Normally we'd just keep it the same enrollment date. It could be something like, I don't know, say it's a school program and it's after someone graduates, maybe it's a graduation date, or something to do with health. It could be, their first appointment, or it could be their referral. So whatever is relevant to your program here. Here again is where the relationship comes into play, but this isn't applicable for this example. So here's where we're going to choose the attributes that appear when we register a person. So I'm going to add in a couple more if that's all right.
Yeah.
Let's add in age. Now, display and list is something that you can choose. Let me just save that, and I'll show you quickly where that comes into play. Nicholas, is this program assigned to the Toronto schools?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So when we're done, because this program has been previously set up, display and list just means when we have our list of registrants here, those attributes will appear. So we've got Toronto schools. This is something if you're considering privacy, who is going to be working on the system. So let's see, we've got teacher program. I don't think we have any people registered. Let's try AY Jackson.
Might find Bickford might be the one.
Nice.
Or actually, we might have reset it recently.
You're right, we did. Yeah. Okay, well, when you have people registered, which we will soon, their names and age will appear here, whatever you choose in that display in the list. Okay, so back to our program. I think we've covered everything in just the program setup. So you notice that I saved it. I pressed update, so it went to 3. That's good to know. So we've got age. We're good to go here. So back to our assignment page. We're almost done. The fun part now is figuring out the program stages, right? What are the different, events or happenings that you're going to need to be tracking? So similar, like with event capture, it assigned only one and automatically, but for tracker, you have to set them up yourself. So we would go view program stages.
Yep.
We would add a new one. In this case, we only have one stage so far, but you can have as many as you like. Let's edit our stage. So here's where we're going to say which data elements need to appear in the stage. So we pick a name. This is where you can customize how many days from the start of the program this stage becomes available. So if you put 0, it just means it's always available.
Okay.
This is an important piece here. Now we've already set this up, so that's why it's grayed out. But if you want this stage to be repeatable, you have to check this box. If not, you'll only be allowed to do it one time for the person. So it might make sense. Sometimes we have a stage that's first visit, and then another stage that's second visit. So in that case, you wouldn't want it to be repeatable because you're having different questions or different data elements for each stage.
Right.
Many other options here that have to do with scheduling, data validation as well. Report date, usually it'll just pick the date that you started the event, but you can customize it if you like. We've chosen options so that things happen automatically right away. So there's no delay. The date is just by default the day you start it. So
it's also good for testing because you don't have to wait when you're looking at things.
Right. So the important piece here is picking the tracker data elements that you've previously imported. They should all be available here. And if they're not, then it means that maybe they're aggregate. But you want to push them over using these arrows. And you can also change the order in which they appear here. So we have 2 data elements. And again, you don't need to check the boxes.
Right.
So what's neat about stages is similar to aggregate data entry forms, you can design how they look. So if we had a whack of data elements, we might want to section them. So check out the information on data sets, a bit more on sections. But here we only have 2, so we didn't need to bother. Yeah, you could also do a design form where you set it up in a table.
It's just like data sets, where we talked about that in the data sets video.
Exactly. So we've got our stage set up, and for this program, that's all we need. So what we can do now, and I'll just refer back to the instructions for our final steps, is the assigning of org unit and permissions. So just like in event capture, we're going to click once, assign it to org unit, and here's where groups come in handy, or levels, depending on where you want to assign it to. So it's assigned to Toronto Schools, which is fine. And then lastly, to the user role who needs to see the program. So just like we did with the event, we would visit our data entry or, whomever needs access and push the program into their permissions.
Great.
Save. Nice.
Okay.
So now, so when we go to tracker capture for Toronto Schools, if we're logged in as the data entry person, we will see the program.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good step-by-step. If you want to watch it through again, or because we kind of jumped through quite quickly all the steps, but I think that's fairly clear. You create your program and you create your stages with tracked entities. You need to create your attributes first and then your entity, and then you can decide on all those when you're creating your program. But that's really good, Sarah. Thank you so much for walking us through that. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
Just that, as you guys know, DHIS2 is very flexible. So after you set it up, you can come back and change anything, and your changes are going to be, propagated throughout. So say you have a data element in a program stage, you need to change the name. You can do that, and it's going to appear on your tracker program, no problem. So setting it up first as kind of a skeleton is a nice idea, and then you can always come in and customize the screens later.
Right. Good point. Good point. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I think that's going to be it for this video then.
Wonderful. Thanks, Nicholas.
Thanks. That's all for now. As always, you can get in touch with us at info@logicaloutcomes.net or on our YouTube channel, Logical Outcomes.